Hi everyone, welcome to EDU310 week 4. So we're on the second half of the course. It's going by very quickly. This week we're going to talk about the causes of both of positive and negative behavior. Remember that behavior isn't necessarily misbehavior. Behavior is what you observe a child doing. So first you're going to read chapter 9 in your book, which is the fundamental causes of positive and negative behavior. And then you have some videos to watch. You're going to be watching a video about temperament, about challenging behavior, one about kindergarten classroom management, and one about integrating technology. So those are our materials this week. Remember, as you are completing your discussion this week, make sure that you have explicit connections to this week's learning material. And it should be pretty easy this week because there are very, very direct connections. So for our discussion, you're going to define temperament. So there's going to be a great natural connection to the learning materials. And then I want you to think about either your temperament or the temperament of a child. It could be your child, it could be a child in your classroom. And I want you to reflect on how their temperament or your temperament influences how you or they interact with the world. And then remember to ask a couple of questions of your peers. Your initial response to the prompt should have references and in-text citations, especially your initial response to the prompt. And that should be completed before Wednesday at midnight. And then your responses to at least 3 of your classmates should happen before Sunday at midnight. And I'm really, really asking that you don't save your posts for the end of the week, all for Sunday. Please try to post throughout the week. As I mentioned to a few of you in my comments and discussions, asynchronous class is one of the cornerstones of having really good learning for an asynchronous course is having a robust discussion. And when you wait to do all of your posts for the end of the week, or when you do them all at the beginning of the week and then don't look at the discussion again, you are missing out on an opportunity for learning and interacting with your classmates. So I ask you, pretty please, post throughout the week, and that gives both you and your classmates a chance to have a dialogue. So thank you in advance for that. So this week, you're going to have 2 assignments. This first one can be pretty brief. What I want you to do is find 3 articles or videos about bullying that relate to early childhood education. And then just do a brief summary of the article or video. It can be just a paragraph. And as a teacher, what techniques could you integrate into the classroom to understand what constitutes bullying, and what techniques could you use in the classroom to prevent these behaviors? So again, this can be a pretty brief assignment. Find those 3 articles or videos, summarize them very briefly, and then answer the prompts with regard to integrating techniques into the classroom for children to understand bullying and also how to prevent bullying. And then you also have an assignment with regard to the positive and negative behavior. So you're going to describe a specific child and a negative behavior that they demonstrate. So this can be a child that you know, or you can make up a fictional child. I want you to describe the behavior in detail and make sure you describe observable behaviors. So an example of that is if you walk into a classroom and you see a student with their head down on the desk and your description is, Joey was really sad. He had his head down on the desk and, he was really, really sad and withdrawn. That is not just observable behavior. That's you giving your opinion of what that observable behavior means. The only behavior there that's observable is that the child had his head down on the desk. So make sure that you think about what you can actually see with your eyes and don't presume the meaning of the behavior yet. First, just the observable behaviors. The next step is for you to determine the function of the behavior. Why do you think the child is doing what they're doing? Because we know that behavior is communication. So what is that child trying to tell us? Are they trying to avoid work that's too difficult for them? Are they seeking attention? So That's what I want you to really think about is first, what do you observe? And second, think about the function of the behavior. And those of you with ABA experience, I'm sure that's just second nature to you. And then I want you to develop a plan for positive interactions to improve the behavior. Make sure you think about the adult actions and if there are any changes you could make to the classroom environment, indoors and or outdoors, to really improve this behavior or to change this behavior. So those are all of our assignments for this week. I believe this is the only week that you're going to have a discussion and 2 assignments. Make sure that you keep your assignments on the briefer side, especially summarizing those 3 articles or videos. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. I'm looking forward to hearing from all of you this week. Take care.